Hey y'all, it's Cowgirl Sierra, and I'm going to be reading The Friendship Part 4. One day, Ashlyn, Steve, Julissa, Brent, Haley, Kane, Kiara, Connor, Sierra, and Chris woke up to the front door being wide open. They immediately closed the door, and got dressed. Sierra, Haley, Kiara, Ashlyn, and Julissa were going to Sephora for more makeup. Chris, Connor, Kane, Brent, and Steve were going to go to the hardware store to get some things they needed for a shed that they were building. While the girls were getting ready, the boys were outside planning on how they were going to build the shed. Julissa, Ashlyn, Haley, Kiara, and Sarah were having fun shopping for makeup. After they got makeup, they went to Victoria's Secret to get dresses and lingerie. After that, they went to Long John Silver's for lunch. Then they went back to the apartment. When they got back, they saw Steve, Brent, Connor, Kane, and Chris working on the shed. Girls grabbed their stuff and headed into the inside the apartment. They put on their makeup on. They put their makeup on their makeup stands. They put their clothes in their closets. They went outside to sit on the front patio to watch the guys build the shed and to drink sweet tea. They were playing Beyonce while sipping on their sweet tea and watching the boys. After the boys built the shed, they were playing basketball with the hoop they had at the apartment. The girls were talking about normal girl things. The boys were playing basketball. Soon the boys came into the apartment. The girls walked back inside behind the boys. The boys had to get showers because they were sweating and they needed to get ready for a date later. The girls had a separate bathroom, so they got ready at about 6:30 p.m. The boys got their showers and threw on some clothes and walked out to the living room. The girls weren't ready yet, so they watched TV until they were. The girls came out in their new dresses that they got that day. The boys were stunned at their dresses. They jumped in the car and drove to a fancy restaurant for the date. Chris and Sarah had a small table in the back. Julissa and Brent had a table in the front. Ashlyn and Steve had a table near Chris and Sierra. Haley and Kane had a table near Julissa and Brent. Kiara and Connor had a table near the door. They were all talking and enjoying their food and drinks. Julissa, Kiara, Sierra, Haley, and Ashlyn were enjoying themselves. Chris, Steve, Kane, Connor, and Brent could tell the girls loved the date. The restaurant that they were at had a karaoke night. So Sierra was showing off her vocals. She can sing really well. She did a duet with Haley, Kiara, Ashlyn, and Julissa on I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. Haley, Ashlyn, Julissa, and Kiara couldn't do this song without Sierra's help, because Sierra has a great range. So she can do a lot of songs that most people can't, like I Will Always Love You. Sierra did the very last part of the song because none of the other girls could do it. So Sierra took the song home. Chris was impressed at Sierra's vocals because he never knew she could sing. All the boys were impressed. None of them knew that the girls could sing. They loved hearing them sing. Everyone in the restaurant was clapping and cheering for the girls. After the girls got to sing a little, Chris and Sierra sang a song together. They sang Baby Blue by George Strait. Chris can sing too, but not as well as Sierra. Sierra is a little famous because she was in a band with Steve back in the old days, so people definitely know who she is. After Chris and Sierra sang, they went back to the apartment. They were going to slip into something comfortable and go to bed. Chris and Sierra were listening to George Strait while in bed. Steve and Ashlyn were listening to whatever came on the radio. Julissa and Brent were slow dancing in the room to Alan Jackson. Kiara and Connor were already asleep. Haley and Kane were just listening to Blake Shelton. Eventually, they were all asleep. Fast forward to the next morning, they were all in the living room getting ready for breakfast. Sierra was fixing breakfast this time. She was fixing pancakes and eggs. Sierra loves cooking anything. As long as she can get the chance to cook, she will do it. Soon breakfast was ready, and they gobbled it all up. After breakfast, they all got ready to tackle the day. The girls were going to go fishing that day. The boys were just going to work in the garage. Garage is like their second home because they spend a lot of time in the garage. The girls were going to fish because they enjoy doing it. The girls are country girls, so they grew up fishing. While they were in the car, they heard a chilling news report. It was about a young child that was murdered in Roswell, New Mexico. It was 3-year-old Jasmine Merriweather. She was found dead near a little shop in Roswell. They didn't know who the murderer was at the time, so they couldn't tell. The girls were very worried for the little girl's family, but they moved on from that and drove to the lake. They had packed a cooler of drinks and snacks. Soon the boys showed up. They were going to fish too. They spent about 2 hours on the lake just fishing and spending time together. After the 2 hours, they went back to the apartment. They didn't catch anything, so they just spent the rest of the day sitting on the patio sipping on sweet tea. Excuse me. They loved sitting on the patio listening to music and sipping on sweet tea. Chris and Sierra were sitting in the living room instead of on the patio with the rest of them. They were talking about the future. They were watching a horror movie called Terrifier. They love that movie. They were drinking sweet tea. They love watching movies together. Meanwhile, on the patio, Ashlyn, Steve, Jalissa, Brent, Kiara, Connor, Haley, and Kane were watching a strange man walk by the apartment. They originally thought that he was just out for a walk, but as he kept walking back and forth in front of the apartment, they thought he was stalking them. Haley ran inside to get Chris and Sierra out there to see if they could recognize the man. When Chris and Sierra walked outside, the man sort of walked away. So Chris and Sierra went back inside to finish their movie. After they finished the movie, they listened to music. They love listening to music together. They love to be with each other. Chris and Sierra are a great couple. So the others. Soon, the others came back inside to spend time all together. After a while, there was a knock at the door. Chris and Steve got up with their guns and checked the door. It was the same man that was walking back and forth from earlier. Chris told the girls to go to one of the rooms without windows. So Jalissa, Ashlyn, Haley, Kiara, and Sierra did as Chris said, while Chris, Steve, Brent, Connor, and Kane were at the door, ready to face the man. Once the man realized that there was 5 against 1, he walked away. So Connor got the girls back into the living room from the bathroom. The girls were freaking out because they were afraid of getting killed by the man. So they all sat in the living room and gathered their thoughts. Suddenly, they heard a window being broken. It sounded like it was coming from one of the bedrooms. So Chris, Kane, Steve, Brent, and Connor got up and investigated. Jalissa, Ashlyn, Haley, Kiara, and Sierra sat in the living room, ready for the worst. Suddenly, the boys heard the girls screaming. So they ran out into the living room to see the same man from earlier trying to kill them. Steve shot at the man. He dropped to the floor, crying and screaming in pain. The girls called the police. The police came in 2 minutes. They live close to a police station, so it doesn't take long for them to get wherever you are. After the police got the man and took him away, Ashlyn, Jalissa, Haley, Kiara, Sierra, Steve, Brent, Kane, Connor, and Chris were never heard from again. And that's where part 4 ends. I hope y'all enjoyed that one, and I will see y'all in the next one.